Pearson Test of English General is available at 6 different levels and offers a comprehensive set of qualifications that are calibrated to the common European framework of reference, allowing candidates to take exams at all levels from A1 to C2. Each exam consists of both a written and spoken paper, with the written paper integrating reading, writing and listening tasks over 9 sections. Although the length of the paper varies depending on the exam. So for example, the foundation level is 75 minutes long, the upper intermediate level 3 is 2 hours, and the proficient level 5 takes just under 3 hours to complete. There are always the same 9 sections appearing in the same order for each test. The exams are designed to be modulated, and whilst it is assumed that a candidate taking the advanced level 4 exam has an awareness of all the structures and functions introduced in the previous levels, they can all just be used as a standalone test of proficiency. And given that the focus is on communicative ability, rather than an analysis of language forms, no special emphasis on particular exam skills will change from level to level. The written paper is weighted for 75% of the final mark, with the other 25% coming from the separate speaking paper. So each of the 4 skills are given equal marks. Once completed, the written paper is externally marked, a grade is given by the speaking assessor, and the candidate is awarded either a distinction, merit, pass or fail grade. The area I'd like to look at is the spoken paper for the 2 lowest levels, foundation and elementary. There are 3 sections and the test lasts 5 minutes, whilst for the other 4 levels there's an additional section and the interview lasts 7 or 8 minutes. In each case, there is one candidate interacting with the examiner. Speaking tasks are always assessed with additional considerations for each separate section. The first section is a sustained monologue, designed to give the candidate a chance to provide personal information, and at higher levels express opinions and emotions in response to the prompts provided by the examiner. This lasts anywhere between 90 seconds and 2 minutes, depending on the level of the exam. One easy way to prepare students for this is to provide them with a written prompt sheet containing several simple questions related to a basic topic. So, for example, a prompt sheet on music might contain the following questions. What's your favourite band? What type of music do you like? Have you ever been to a concert? Can you play a musical instrument? Would you like to learn how to play one? And then, rather than just answer one question and wait for the next, the student can practice a sustained monologue by answering all the questions without a pause. So they might say, I like folk music. My favourite band is a folk group called Steeleye Span. I've been to lots of their concerts. I would like to play the flute, but I can't play any musical instrument at the moment. Meaning that they're giving a more detailed description of a topic, even at lower levels. At slightly higher levels, you might build on the student's working knowledge by providing them with a skeleton text, or again a prompt sheet. In this case, it could be a list of verbs in a certain order. For example, go, see, buy, hit, take, run, drop, break, cry, and asking them to create a story using these verbs in that fixed order. And working with a partner, they might come up with an anecdote. Something like, I went to a shop and saw a computer. I bought it. A thief hit me and took my computer. I ran after him and he dropped it, but it broke and I cried. Which, obviously, would be fairly similar to the other students, as you've been prescriptive in the order that the verbs appear. But from this basic skeleton, you can build some more advanced language. So you might get them to add some more discourse markers and repeat the initial anecdote this time using one day, then, after that. Then again with some adverbs, luckily, actually, well, suddenly, or some adjectives, new, ugly, aggressive. The type of language that is not yet part of the student's working knowledge, but structures that they know. By doing this type of controlled practice and getting them to repeat it, you're helping them improve the range of language that they will use in a sustained monologue. The next section, at least for levels 2 and above, is a discussion. And this also tests the student's turn-taking ability and lasts between 90 seconds and 2 minutes. Obviously, when preparing the students for this part of the exam, you need to focus on functional language, especially for giving opinions and agreeing and disagreeing, as well as providing them with some stock fillers that they can use to give them a bit more thinking time. A word grab activity can be a fun and productive way in which to do this. Write some stock lexical chunks onto separate strips of paper, or get the students to copy them from the board if you have a large class. Expressions like, "That's an interesting question," or "I haven't really thought about that before," or "I'm not sure I agree with that." Make sure that you have more than 10 strips of paper. Place one set of the strips in front of every pair of students, and then write a discussion topic on the board. Students will discuss the topic in pairs, but every time they use one of the expressions on the strips of paper, they'll grab it. And at the end of a minute, the student with the most strips of paper wins. The third section consists of describing either 1 or 2 pictures, and again lasts between 90 seconds and 2 minutes. And it also assesses the student's ability to develop a theme. Besides giving the students clear language to describe pictures, such as practice with the present continuous and the use of there is, are, and prepositions of place, another way of preparing the students is by giving prompts. We all know memory tests are effective motivators, but rather than just getting the students to memorize a picture, write some prompts on the board. For instance, things like, how many people? What are they doing? Think about colours. Think about the foreground, the background. What are the people feeling? And then, once the picture is removed, you will find that the students are happy to use the prompts to provide a more detailed description of the picture. With higher levels of the PTE test, there are 2 pictures, and the students might be asked to compare and contrast each of these. One fun way of generating pairs of pictures is to give an ambiguous picture dictation to your students. Get them to take a blank piece of paper and tell them that you will describe a scene in stages, that they will draw on the paper. Make sure that your prompts are fairly vague. So instead of saying there is a woman eating a hot dog, you'll say there is someone eating something. Or you might ask the students to add details. What's the weather like? There's a big sign. What does it say? There are some children. What are they doing? If you give the students 6 or 7 prompts, you'll find they all have pictures that are in some ways similar, but all very different. They can then work in pairs, comparing and contrasting the pictures. Now, the last section is always a role play, in which one role is taken by the examiner and the other by the candidate, and again lasts between 90 seconds and 2 minutes. Social linguistic appropriateness is also assessed during this stage. We all know that role plays can provide fun ways of getting the students to use language in a monolingual or unilingual teaching environment. But remember that we need to focus the students' attention on functional language and register. So it's better to keep the same situation and change the participants, for example. You might have a situation where a person is unhappy about the amount of work they have to do. So initially, you might have them complain to his boss, then to his best friend, and finally to a subordinate, each time using a slightly different tone, and of course different exponents for complaining. Remember to keep the role play short and snappy, and give feedback not only on their mistakes but also on their intonation, appropriateness, and range of language. If you then give them a chance for further practice, you'll always find that they say more fluently in less time. Remember, with each of the sections of the PTE speaking tests, although there is a slightly different context for each one, giving the students lots of speaking tasks in class and providing them with basic feedback on their accuracy, fluency, range, and phonological control will help them be better prepared for this part of the test.